answers for you when you need a real life situation and you need that answer. So we will start. So here is our salad bar menu. Okay, you can see there's a lot of things on here, and we're going to touch on some of these, and I am not going to read every one of these citations. Okay, just so we've been seeing a lot of that, right, this last few days. So we're just going to kind of go over, and I'm going to give some salient points to those. And the reason we have this here instead of, say, beta blocker toxicity or calcium channel blocker toxicity is I wanted to look at it from the perspective of the agent rather than the toxin. And because I think it's very important to understand the mechanism of this drug that you're using. Of course, it's important to discover the mechanism of the toxin. But when you combine those two, it allows you to, I think, make a wise decision. So let's start. You know, it may be a situation like this. A 37-year-old male, distraught, takes a week of his grandmother's pill minder, and it may be verapamil, amitriptyline, quetiapine, propranolol, and digoxin, right? So a nightmare case. And you may have seen something like this, right? I mean, these things really happen. So you're doing everything but the kitchen sink, maybe even the kitchen sink. So you're just doing whatever you can to make this patient survive. I think we need to step back first, like I said, and sort of understand, you know, what's our objective here? We have a patient with a low blood pressure. And as you can see up here, if we go back to this formula, blood pressure is really the product of your cardiac output and your total peripheral resistance. And consequently, your cardiac output is a product of this stroke volume, so how much volume your heart pushes out of that into your peripheral vascular system, and then how fast it does it. And so you can see that all these components should be taken into consideration when you're picking your perfusion agent. So you got to think, will this increase their stroke volume? Will this increase their heart rate? Or will this increase their total peripheral resistance? You can look, of course, at your systolic and diastolic blood pressure. That may be the only data you may have. You may not get all these nice things that we like in an ICU. Systolic blood pressure is really a function of the heart's contractility. So is this cardiogenic failure or is this non-cardiogenic? Maybe the diastolic is low. Maybe the peripheral vascular system isn't contracting and you're not getting a good squeeze peripherally to increase your blood pressure. So you can see that this is going to be related to this, and systolic is going to be related to this. All right, so IV fluids. It seems sort of mundane, correct? But just like, it's kind of like the lettuce that you see up there, right? You got to start with a base. You got to give them fluids first. And if you look at the mechanism, it's pretty simple. You just fill them up. If they need a better stroke volume, maybe that and the heart's doing okay, you can push that fluid right out, right? And if you can fill the void in their peripheral vascular system, you're going to increase their blood pressure. And the good thing is, of course, that may work. And the bad thing is, of course, what? If they're fluid overloaded, you're going to have a problem, right? If they have heart failure, if you have renal failure, if you have liver failure, this could be a big problem. And so